नमस्कार दोस्तों, वेलकम टू फोर्थ एंड लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ प्री पैकेज इंसॉल्वेंसी रेजोल्यूशन प्रोसेस in relation to MSME. I will be discussing section 54L to 54P of this ordinance. Section 54L basically talks about approval of resolution plan, which states that resolution plan has to be approved by adjudicating authority within 30 days of its submission. The same plan which is approved under section 12 or under subsection 12 or subsection 4 of section 54K. However, requirement of section 30 subsection 2 will apply, which provides for effective provision for implementation of plan. Provision of section 31 in relation to chapter 3 will apply as in relation to this chapter will apply as it is. If resolution plan does not meet the requirement of section 54L, then adjudicating authority shall pass an order for liquidation and reject the resolution plan. However, if the resolution plan as approved, if some order has been passed under section 54J for vesting the management of corporate debtor into resolution professional, and resolution plan passed under subsection 4 or subsection 12 as above does not result in change in management of corporate debtor to somebody else who is not the director, promoter or in control of corporate debtor at the time of such passing of such order, then AA shall reject the plan and terminate the pre-package insolvency resolution process and pass the liquidation order under section 33(1) and declare the pre-package insolvency resolution process cost as liquidation cost. So now moving on to section 54M. If there is any appeal is to be made against the order under section 54L, then in that case that appeal shall only be made on the grounds mentioned under section 61 subsection 3. So now moving on to section 54N, which talks about termination of pre-package insolvency resolution process. It basically says where RP files an application with AA in relation to application under section 54K subsection 12 proviso or section 54D subsection 3, then AA within 30 days of that application terminate the pre-package insolvency resolution process, provide the manner in which the application filed for avoidance transaction under chapter 3 or chapter 4 shall continue. Then it also provides that if COC so decides to terminate the pre-package insolvency resolution process between the dates of pre-package insolvency commencement date and approval of resolution plan under section 54K subsection 12 or subsection 4, then with 66% of voting in value they can do so, provided the order has not been passed, as we discussed. Further, it goes on to say that corporate debtor will bear the pre-package insolvency resolution process cost if there is any order passed under section 54N subsection 1. Okay, that is the order passed under proviso to subsection 12 or section 54D subsection 3. Further, AA shall pass an order under section 54J subsection 2 and pre-package insolvency resolution process required to be terminated under section 54N subsection 1, then AA shall pass an order of liquidation under section 33 subsection 1 and declare that pre-package insolvency resolution process cost will be the liquidation cost. Okay, now moving on to section 54O, which basically talks about initiation of corporate insolvency resolution process. So there is at one place pre-package insolvency resolution process and another is CIRP. So where COC decides and resolves with 66% value that corporate debtor is eligible for CIRP, it can initiate CIRP. However, adjudicating authority in 30 days of such intimation, COC through RPA also has to intimate the adjudicating authority. So upon intimation within 30 days, COC shall pass an order to terminate the pre-package insolvency resolution process and start CIRP, appoint the RP in this process as IRP under CIRP subject to his valid consent, and declare the pre-package insolvency resolution process cost as CIRP cost. However, if there is no consent by IRP, then in that case the appointment has to be through board as per regular procedure under CIRP. Upon order under this section, the application will be considered as application filed under section 7 in relation to CIRP. CIRP commences from the date of that order. Chapters 3 and Chapter 4 avoidance transaction or fraudulent transaction will continue as it is. Provision of section 43, 46, 50 in relation to insolvency commencement date will be for the purpose of section 43, 46, 50, insolvency commencement date will not be the date of this order but the date of pre-package insolvency commencement date. In computing the relevant period for filing the avoidance or fraudulent transaction, the pre-package insolvency commencement date will be considered, not the CIRP commencement date. Okay, so now moving on to section 54P. Section 54P basically talks about applicability of various chapters and various sections of IBC or IBC other than chapter 3A to chapter 3A. So various sections like section 24, 25, 26, chapter 6, 7, it states that mutatis mutandis they will apply to pre-package insolvency resolution process subject to change in some references. For example, wherever ICD is written, it will be insolvency commencement date is written, it will be treated as pre-package insolvency commencement date. Wherever corporate insolvency resolution process is written, it will be considered as a pre-package insolvency resolution process. RP/IRP will be considered as a RP. Insolvency resolution process period will be considered as pre-package insolvency resolution process period. And some other references, for example, reference to section 16 will be considered as reference to section 54E under section 27. Reference to section 25 subsection 2 clause J will be considered as a reference to section 54 clause F, section 54F clause 2 subclause 4 under section 26. So these are there are certain or other references, other sections also which are to be referred in comparison to their counterpart in pre-package insolvency sections or chapter 3A sections. So with this my discussion on pre-package insolvency resolution process for MSME in the light of ordinance issued by Government of India is concluded. I hope this series was able to add some value addition in your already existing knowledge base. In case you need to discuss or ask any question in relation to this process or these provision of law, kindly feel free to get in contact with me. This is C. Hemant Gupta signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.